All right, g'day everyone. It's Who We Are podcast with Ben and Jen again, and today we're going to be talking about forming bonds of two. So Mum's going to talk about that a little bit.
All right, so I'll just give you a brief description of forming bonds of two, and it's about sharing a mutual state of mind which draws us closer together, and it also allows us to operate independently, and it's a relationship that is mutually satisfying, where we're both satisfied in that relationship.
Yeah.
And ideally it is formed from birth, and it's ideally created in the first place with your primary caregiver, which is usually a mum, but it can also be a dad or a grandparent, an aunt or an uncle. It just depends who gives you that first care in those first, months of your life. So it glues us to the person who loves us, who cares for us, who comforts us, protects us and feeds us. And as I said, for most people, that will be their mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it not? Can it be like two people at the same time, or is it not? Will someone usually have one person? I'm just
like as in a mum and a dad.
Yeah, just say mum and dad were there equal amount of time.
Yeah, no, it usually happens with one person, and it would be that person that gives you the most amount of time. And then there's another skill further down the track, which is forming family bonds. And that usually happens for a kid when they're about 6 months old. They start to realise, oh, there's actually another person here.
Yeah.
And then that's when they start interacting with their dad. And I think sometimes a lot of dads sort of feel a bit insecure about that when their babies are little, because they always want their mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sometimes as the kids get older, they'll switch between, it could be they still might like their mum the most or want to hang out the most, or they might want to hang out with their dad the most.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like just relationships as a family, grows that way afterwards.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. But it's a skill that helps us feel safe and secure and allows us to be ourselves, to, grow our own identity and to be confident, resilient, resourceful, and to be able to live without fear of, I'm not acceptable as who I am. Yeah, so, you're very confident in who you are and, who you're made to be.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So our brains actually, in, the way our brain works, our brain says that we're the sum of our relationships. That's how our brain, sees us. And those relationships can either be good or bad. It just depends on our interactions from, when we're small and, what happens to us when we're kids and things like that. So, that's how our brain sees us, as the sum of our relationships, either good or bad. And that's why, learning these skills, we're going to tend to the good side rather than the bad side.
Yeah. Well, that's like modeling, right? Like if you model good, then it will be, you'll get those skills. But if you model bad things, then they'll get those skills.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I heard the other day someone saying about trying to get their kids to be responsible by doing something, but you can't just teach somebody to be responsible. You have to model to be responsible.
Yeah.
And then you'll get it. Then it'll just be automatic.
Yeah, that's the best way that we learn, we watch what's happening around us and watch the interactions between the people that we're, living life with and doing life with. And that's basically the way we learn things.
Yes. And so what is it? Forming bonds of two. So the first bond of two you have, that's the first opportunity of being modelled to. We have in our lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if it's a great interaction, that's great for you. But if it's not so great, it can cause problems further down the track. But like we always say, these skills can be learned at any time in our lives.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No,
I think that everybody in our family, not from any fault of anybody's, except that we didn't know what was going on, we all missed most of the brain skills.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Yeah.
And it's just, since we've decided to intentionally chase after them, that we've found what we need to do so we can get better at them.
Yeah.
And it does happen spontaneously too.
Yeah, and then we're able to model those to, the people around us.
So hopefully the next generation of Hamiltons will be a bit better equipped
than
for
us.
life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like when we're in this, like, two relationship, like we're able to learn to respect each other's limitations. So if you're interacting and one person stops, you both stop, and then you have that rest, you have that break, and then you can restart and, keep on going from there. But, we're also able to like express our thoughts and our feelings and our words equally. Like some people say, oh, like I can't express my emotions, or I can't put that into words. But if we have this skill, we can express all three equally, which is really interesting.
That was something that I really struggled with before I learned brain skills, or before I learned to be relational, or was in a group of relational people. Is I could never express my probably all of the above, like my emotions. I had no idea what I was feeling. I had no idea how to even. I'm sort of struggling with it now, but to put my thoughts into words, I've gotten way better at it over the last 5 or 6 or 7 years. But
and it's not like someone has actually sat down and taught it to you. It's just being part of these interactive, real relationship groups where you've just picked it up from people that have those skills.
Even like, I would say that my vocabulary was like bogan vocabulary until I was around other people that have different vocabulary, and I've just picked it up. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, if I can remember it. But I was talking about real relationships, and he said, so when you say real, do you mean authentic? And I'm like, yeah, that's just the word I use. So it's like we have these different ways of explaining things and the thoughts in our heads, and it's like just by being with other people who are relational, I pick up the way that they are, and we get the good things from them.
Definitely.
It's not too late. Even I was trying to figure out how old I was the other day with Toby, and I think I'm 37, turning 38, but I can't remember. So for some reason, for the last year, I thought I was 38 already. It's so weird. But
you got an extra year.
So it's like, I don't know, but we've just been learning it and getting better at this over the last. It's not even that long, relatively speaking, for our lives, but we've just been getting better and better at it over the last few years.
And when we have this skill, we're able to give each other their personal space as well. And I've just got a little story about Jess, Ben's daughter. We spend a lot of time together because, like, we're homeschooling and things like that, and her and I do lots of activities and things together. But I've noticed recently that she can actually pick up when I'm feeling tired or need a rest or need a break, and she actually knows to give me that break. And that's not something that I've ever said to her. I've never said to her, oh, look, I'm really tired, can you just leave me alone? But it's something that she's just been able to pick up on because of spending that amount of time together, I guess, really. Yeah, and then that's literally what it is. So, with practice, we form this mutual mind with another person. We feel connected, we feel valued and understood, and we're creating these deep bonds, and that gives us a real sense of security in who we are. And if we don't have them, we have a really poor sense of our identity, and we can't live our life feeling secure. We feel very insecure. We feel pain, we feel isolation, we feel rejection, we hold grudges. We live a fearful life, we resent other people, and we can become really self-centered. And we've been talking about beeps, and beeps can become our norm, can just become, part of our everyday life. And we also have a sense of feeling like we need to compete with other people.
Or that other people are just competing with you all the time, and everything that they say or do is against you. I used to have that. I thought people were having a go all the time.
And if we don't have this skill, we actually become better at hurting people than helping people. And that's not a great thing, I guess, is it?
No.
And I've heard someone say that the greatest source of human pain is lack of connection and lack of relationships and community. And I think you can see that when you look at old people who are isolated and lonely, and it's just such a hard, sad life for them. And I
Yeah.
think they deteriorate fairly quickly without that connection, without that human connection.
I've noticed it a lot in Australia too. It's probably because we're from a small town in Thailand, but like, especially since the governmental lockdowns, people are by themselves a lot,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they put their mask on to hide.
Yeah.
And people
yeah.
who still do that, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
And then they don't want any connection like with anybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially in the street or something.
Yep.
Let
yeah.
alone someone look at them or smile at them and they hide from it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe that's just, I'm just not used to it. But people being like that, because in Thailand, it's the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but I think that what's happened in the last few years has contributed to making people more
more
isolated, hide
yeah.
from people more, and so then
Yeah.
they've lost this
Yeah.
entirely.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Because like we are made for connection, and a connection that's actually anchored in joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we need to see each other's faces.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. That was
yeah.
something I worried about when, everyone was walking around with masks on, and I worried about the little kids. And I was thinking particularly of one of my little grandsons, or a couple of them at the time. Like, they had spent more than half their life looking at people with their faces covered,
Yeah.
like not being able to see expressions, not being able to see who they are, not, being able to make those
And you
connections
really
that
can't.
we need.
Like,
no.
someone could have a massive smile. I've talked to people in a shop or something.
Yeah.
They could be having a massive smile,
Yeah.
and you just you just see their eyes,
Yeah.
and you can't
Yeah.
tell anything.
And I remember that
Yeah.
happened to me one day at work. I was walking into the office and I saw the lady that worked in our office, and I had this big smile on my face because I was so happy to see her. And I said to her, I'm here smiling behind this mask, and you can't even see
Yep.
that I'm smiling. And yeah, that was really sad. Yeah. So this skill is a really good foundation for building the rest of the skills. And it's here in this skill that we learn to grow in our relational intelligence and in our flexibility as people and human beings. So yeah, it's a really important base skill.
Yeah, and if you don't have it, you sort of lose out on everything afterwards.
Yeah,
you need this
you've got
first.
nothing to build on. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, that's
that it?
about it. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks. Bye.